What's going on, guys? It's Tony with Urban Girl Scout Media, living the dream as always, and coming to you today to do a fun review of the Commander 20 product. Just going to do some highlights on it, and then I have one card from each color that really stood out to me, the new cards only. We'll discuss kind of how I got to these cards in a moment, but let's talk about the decks themselves. We're still getting 5 decks. It is 3-color wedge decks, so Temur, Asban, all that good stuff. Something kind of cool though is that there are 4 legendary creatures in each deck. Now, 2 of them are going to be multicolored for your deck, and then the third one is the third and fourth one are going to be partners that you would play together. Where honestly, looking at them, and all of these are new cards, but looking at these partners, one goes with the other really well. Like, this is a good partner design. So that's kind of what they have going on here. Now, like I said, I chose really just 6 or 7 cards. I believe one of each of the main colors, a multicolor and an artifact that I really liked that stood out. So what I did was I chose new cards only, so no reprints, and no partners. I thought that doing the partner would be kind of difficult because that would include the other card, and it would just be kind of, I don't know, it wouldn't feel right. So with no further ado, let's get to the first card. That is going to be Call the Coppercoats. This is 2 colorless, a white. It's an instant. And its first ability is Strive, and it says this spell costs 1 colorless and 1 white more to cast for each target beyond the first. The other ability here is choose any number of target opponents. Create X 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens, where X is the number of creatures those opponents control. So if you have one opponent and you play this and they have 5 creatures on the board, you're going to get 5 1/1 human tokens. If you have 3 opponents that each have 5 creatures on the board and you pay that Strive cost, you're going to get 15. See how it works. So I've been in plenty of EDH games where there have been just tons and tons of creatures on the board for multiple players. Tokens is a big thing, and you can see that in the theme of this set. So I don't know. I like this card, guys. I don't have a single complaint about it. I think it's efficient at the original cost of 2 colorless and 1 white. That's incredibly efficient. The Strive cost is a little reduced. Still makes it hard to get past. And really, if you're looking at, you're going later into the game if you're going to use some of those other abilities, or use that Strive ability for more than just that. Sorry. So our next card is going to be, next card is going to be, interestingly enough, Species Specialist. And I looked at this card and I thought to myself, man, at 2 colorless, 2 black, a human warrior, 2/3 creature, that's not great, okay? But then we look at these abilities. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever a creature of the chosen type dies, you may draw a card. Holy moly. So any tribal deck that you run, if you have black in it, this should be a part of that. It is that simple, boys and girls. I don't know how you could in any way, shape, or form think this would be a bad card. I wanted to make a tribal rats, and I personally think this is going to be one of the first singles out of the new Commander product that I'll purchase, because I think it would go into that so well. And also, read the context. It's not just a creature you control or a creature you don't control of that type. It's a creature vein type. So you could choose human, or if you're at a game where later in the game there's a lot of creatures of a specific type out, you have that advantage. So I thought that was really cool. Species Specialist is one of the cards that really took my attention right away. Up next is Crystalline Renaissance. I don't know. I probably said it wrong. You guys can roast on me. I don't give a shit. But this is the only enchantment I believe I have on here. It is 2 colorless and 1 blue. Like I said, it's an enchantment, and it has, when you cycle a card, you may have crystalline resonance? I don't know. Become a copy of another target permanent until your next turn, except it has this ability. So, Cycle is back. It's back in a big way, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a few cards. Spoiler! But with this card specifically, again, just like with the last card, it's not narrowed to you or your opponent or a card type. It says target permanent until your next turn. Cycling is an instant ability. It's coming back full-fledged in this commander set. Yeah, how do you not love this card immediately? I don't have enough good things to say about it. Playing against it, if you see it dropped on the board, you better get rid of it. That better be one of the things you get rid of, or at least using it as an indication that you're about to go through the cycle. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this one as well. Up next, we have the Curious Herd, and this was the green card that I chose. Curious Herd is 3 colorless and a green. It is an instant. And it says, choose target opponent. You create X 3/3 green beast creature tokens, where X is the number of artifacts that player controls. The first time I saw this card, my jaw dropped. Not going to lie to you guys. That is some power. That is some power in the right moment. Now, you only get to choose an opponent, but you're getting, I would say after the second or third token, this card is strict value. So at instant speed, you can play it before your turn. It's green, which means there's plenty of ramp. Not a lot else to say about Curious Herd other than I'm curious to see how quickly I can get it casted once we get back to playing Magic. Next card is the red card that we chose, and that is going to be Frontier Warmonger. 3 colorless and 1 red. It's a 4/4 human warrior, and it says whenever 1 or more creatures attack one of your opponents or a planeswalker they control, those creatures gain menace until end of turn. So there's a lot going on there, but let's break it down from a fundamental standpoint. First off, whenever any creature attacks an opponent or an opponent's planeswalker, if Frontier Warmonger is on the battlefield, that creature gets menace. Menace is the ability where they have to have at least 2 creatures blocking them. So, for not attacking you if this creature is out, the reward is menace. Just throwing that out there. I thought red was a little weak in this set, personally. So, this card, it was kind of difficult actually to choose. This is the card though I went with, Frontier Warmonger. I just really like the fact that it's going to reward your opponents for attacking each other and not attacking you. Alright, so it's time to get to the multicolored part of this shindig. Let's talk Gavi, Nest Warden. It is one of the box cover commanders, one of the American colors. So you got 2 colorless, 1 red, 1 white, 1 blue. It's a legendary creature, human shaman. And you may pay 0 rather than pay the cycling cost of the first card you cycle each turn. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 red and white dinosaur cat creature token. And it's a 2/5. I don't know if I said that. Alright, so interesting piece here on this. First off, when I first read the card, I thought that it just said you may pay 0. I didn't catch the first on the cycle. So I had to go back and read it because I missed the first card you cycle each turn. When I saw that, this actually became a card I enjoyed a lot more because I like cycle. Don't get me wrong. It's one of the most popular abilities in the history of Magic. But I'm not the only motherfucker out here who loves that ability. So these 2 abilities combined are very, very interesting. You only get the first card you cycle and the second card you cycle each turn. That's it. But that's still pretty good when you consider the other cards in the set, the other cards in Magic's history, the cards that you can use to basically, when you cycle them, you get a reward. So there's been a lot of movement on that one card, Decree of Silence. That's, this is one of the big reasons, is that Gavi, Nest Warden, she's here. And, I mean, a mother's love transcends species. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now with her. So, good job on this one. Glad that they didn't make it too overpowered. You know what I'm saying? Could have done it real easily. All right, so let's move on to the last card I want to talk about, and that is the artifact. Not a lot of new artifacts in this set. Sanctuary Blade is... It took me a little bit to warm up to this card. So it's 2 colorless, artifact equipment, 3 to equipped, and it says, as Sanctuary Blade becomes attached to a creature, choose a color. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has protection from the last chosen color. So I've gone back and forth on how good I think this is. I really believe that this is undercover heat. For a lot of different reasons, mainly because of the fact that when it becomes attached, and you have to just choose a color. You don't have to choose a new color. Attached and the color. Not having to be different each time, or a different color, or a new color, or anything like that. I think that's really big on this card. I'm trying not to be a Timmy and make this like a huge value card, but like, I'm looking at this and I just can't help but feel like this is going to be a big card in the format. And I think it has potential in Legacy. I don't play Legacy much anymore, but anything that gives you protection and does some of these things, I gotta believe it's going to at least get looked at. So Sanctuary Blade, definitely intrigued here. Definitely not upset with that bad boy. So there you go. There is our 5 commander decks. Talked about some cards from each one or some cards from each color. The decks overall look really fun. There's some really great videos on ways to upgrade them if you're looking for like casual upgrades, or if you're looking for something a little more aggressive. I like the American color ones. Timeless Wisdom is the name of the deck. I think that's going to be really good. The Symbiotic Swarm, it looks really good. Arcane Maelstrom has some infinite combo abilities in it, so be prepared. And then the other 2, the Enhanced Evolution and Ruthless Regiment, they both look good, but those are more individual cards from those. So tell me what you guys think. If there's any cards in here that you thought maybe were any individual cards that I should have selected over these. And of course, thank you for listening so much. This is Tony with Urban Girl Scout Media.